Honorable Minister, Excellency Naledi Pandor, Albert van Jaarsveld, Director General of the National Research Foundation of South Africa, Dr. Gansen Pillay, Deputy Director General of the NRF, colleagues, guests. It was a vision of a great leader in early 70s of last century, President of the United States, Lyndon Johnson, who came up with an idea to establish a unique institution which I am now proud to speak from to you, International Institute of Applied System Analysis, IIASA. Vision was born in the difficult times where the world was divided politically, geographically, divided by many tensions which were characterized in the global history as a Cold War tensions. Vision led to establishing of a unique institution by 12 founding countries in 1972, IIASA, United States, Soviet Union, Japan, and the remaining 9 countries came half from the former East and half from the former West. An institute started to develop major portfolio of scientific contributions to a policy dialogue, contributions to the major big questions of the world transitions, ranging from the information about the energy systems, water availability, biodiversity, climate, all the way up to game theories behind the financial markets and the stability of the major coalitions. The Institute reached its goal in terms of top science and science diplomacy after the first 20 years with a great satisfaction. And in 20 years' time after its establishment, we witnessed yet another revolution in the world, which was changing the former East and West situation into a new world, as we call it. There was no anymore West and Eastern divide. At that time, IIASA had a question to itself. Does it make a sense to follow with this vision, to follow with the scientific substance behind the global transitions? And answer was yes. We need a scientific substantiation of the global dialogue at many places in the world, and IIASA became in 1992 a global institution. And I'm proud to say that at this moment IIASA has 22 member countries, and one of them, very important one, is South Africa. South Africa joined IIASA a couple of years ago, and like in 1968-67, a great vision led to establishing of IIASA. South African contribution to the IIASA deliberations became very visible, and it was a vision again, albeit at a smaller scale, which came from South Africa, which established a program, sister program to a very successful program at IIASA called Young Scientist Summer Program. It was a suggestion coming from the NRF, coming from Gansen Pillay, who came to the IIASA Council with a proposal, this fantastic way of teaching and doing research together through the Young Scientist Program should be accessible to more. It cannot be that from 800 applications every year, roughly, only 50 lucky ones get opportunity to stay at IIASA for 3 months. So after a couple of years of discussions, we decided to do an experiment. To experiment together with South African community and IIASA to establish a first ever non-IIASA based, non-Austria based, non-IIASA main headquarters based Young Scientist Summer Program. And this is the program we talk about today. We talk about the 3rd generation of the program, which we are launching today, proudly from both parts of the world, proudly from South Africa, but proudly also from here, from IIASA, where we actually celebrate success of this idea, where we celebrate the success of previous 2 generations. Before I go to the formal words to wish you success with generation 3 of this program, let me revisit briefly the 2nd generation of this program, which I was privileged to attend the final workshop and the closing ceremony. It is only 6 months ago, in February, where we met in Bloemfontein and listened to the fantastic results of the 2013-14 generation of the students, altogether 36 of them. I remember sitting 2 days in the lecture hall in Bloemfontein, listening to the research, and I said to myself, this is incredible. Because it was not sounding like a satellite program organized through a remote contact between IIASA researchers and South African colleagues. It sounded like sitting at home here and listening to the YSSP presentations, as we did for last almost 37 years at IIASA, which made me even more convinced that this model is absolutely successful model which led to a broadening of the spin-off of the IIASA system analysis thinking research throughout the world. I would like to congratulate and thank to the visionary NRF colleagues for not only putting these ideas through, convincing my council to do it, because yes, there was a skepticism for a number of years, but also for being graciously accepting the IIASA idea of supporting the science excellence capacity building worldwide without borders. Because not only South African NRF and colleagues did put together the facilities and offered facilities to IIASA collaboration, they invited from all over the world young people to meet with South African students and to work together. And when I came for the closing ceremony last year and I looked at the success of the whole program, I said, this cannot stop. We should be offering yet another step to those students who spend so much time and so much energy in their research within the South African YSSP context. So what we have done, we have announced, together with my colleague Gansen Pillai, a special reward for the most successful students from the South African YSSP 2013-14. And I'm pleased to announce today, at this opening ceremony, the winners. The winners will receive a special bonus to be able to come to IIASA and to stay at IIASA together with IIASA colleagues, IIASA researchers, not only in-house but worldwide, to further advance their research projects. The process which led to this selection has been very rigorous. We had an international independent peer review of the submitted reports. We had deliberations across different scientists involved in the review. And in the end, the full steering committee of the South African YSSP, composed from South African coordinators, researchers, leaders, and IIASA researchers, decided on the following. Mr. Ekarine from Helsinki will get a honorable mention. 3 months of system analysis scholarship at IIASA here in Austria is awarded to Mrs. Sevnu Changa from Cape Town University in South Africa. 3-month system analysis fellowship is also awarded to Mrs. Delin Fang from Beijing Normal University in China. And the 6 months, which is the winner of the fellowship at IIASA, has been awarded to William Tyndall from United States, Georgia Tech. Those scholars will come to IIASA not only to their own research, they will come to IIASA as members of the network, co-guided, co-supervised in their follow-up research by both South African, their own specific countries, and IIASA researchers. And they will contribute to enlargement of the collaborative networks through their own research in the future. It's also my pleasure at this moment to announce that same awards will be available for the winners of the 2014-2015 South African YSSP, which we are launching today. It is my hope and wish, Honorable Minister, my colleagues from Bloemfontein, my colleagues from NRF, to be back in Bloemfontein again in 3 months' time, to be able together with you to celebrate the success of 2014-15 YSSP generation South African colleagues and to talk about future. Because what I do know, and this will happen, at least from IIASA side, this is intention and clear strategy, that beyond this third generation of South African YSSP, there will be more of the collaboration, extended research collaboration in capacity building, and this is my hope that we will be able to celebrate that particular fact during the closing ceremony of 2014-15. See you in three months' time, and I wish you all well for coming 3 months.